you first. So obviously, when people think about privacy, there's probably nothing that's more private to them than health or possibly financial information. So perhaps you can give me a walkthrough of how consent works with your products, because you talk about the idea of sharing your information with health authorities and so on. How do I actually do that, and how do I ensure that it's only going where I want it to go?
Yeah. Thank you. Is this on? So at the moment, it's sort of what I try to show is where we are today, what we're working on, which is coming very soon, and sort of what's coming in the future. So to be completely honest, at the moment, it is very much opt into the service or not. We're trying to be quite clear with what data we are capturing, and given that it is wellness and not health, so we're not capturing anything around disease, but more about lifestyle, it's slightly less sensitive, and we're not exposed to the same regulatory matters. So where we want to move that to is, first of all, breaking that down so that you can consent to certain type of data and not other type of data. And that obviously comes with them building that trust journey, because ultimately we want them to feel comfortable with sharing that with us. We also make it very clear and separate us from their employer. Because obviously if you're going to log that you might have drank a bottle of wine on a Monday night and you think that your employer is going to get hold of that data, actually about 29% think that the employer might use that type of data to get rid of you. So it's also very important that we're separating that this is a service that we're providing, and the company is getting the aggregate data and the insight and reporting on that level. So that's kind of where we are, and going into breaking down that data, and also, as I said, with the communication and making it much easier to understand in normal language, and sort of, I guess, going to be some battles with the lawyers there. Probably going to have to be both, but that's absolutely doable.
And Cecille, so you've obviously done some work in terms of giving back control to your users. How many of them actually take back control? How many of them care enough to do that?
How many is a moving question day after day. But I wanted to share with you something which is going on at the pilot case in France at the moment. We ask people, and it's crowdsourced, and everyone can participate. What do you understand, and what don't you understand in what you consent to, but also what is part of your contract, what is not. And this is very interesting for us to really see how they get engaged with this tool, how they share information, and how we can then improve the conversation we have on the data with our customer. The second part is really about data and society, and we really think that many insurance companies have information about what is the most dangerous road in your city, for instance, or what if there is a heavy rain, what if the safest windows that you can have in your home. And the question is now, how do we step by step try to leverage those tools so that people can not only access to what is my data, but also compare with others, what can I change in my way of living or moving so that I'm safer. And I think this is the difference between only working on the consent and really working on the value creation. And this is a shift that we need to work on right now.
Emanuele, same sort of question for you. You've obviously, shown us some of your initiatives to give back control. How much do users want to take back control?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, based on some market research we have done, people are not interested for sure in taking control over data. They're more interested into getting access to new services that are empowered by their data. So that's one important thing. And more generally speaking, people, of course, they will say that they would like to take more control over the data, but they keep sharing data without, in a very open way. So this is what we call typically the privacy paradox. The fact is that I think it's also the lack of tools in the market that makes that people do not embrace privacy, and they don't try to take control over the data. When easy tools like AdBlock are available in the market, people massively adopt them. So AdBlock is 30% of the market. It's very easy to use. You download it once and then you forget about it. So this is, to me, the demonstration that the privacy paradox doesn't exist, but what is missing are good tools in the market. And I think there will be a new industry of sort of a big data for for what we call a self-IT internally, data that will be targeted to the user to better manage their data and empower them in a way in the relationship with the brands. And this is missing at the moment. I mean, PIMS and personal data clouds they are trying to address this at the moment, but I think we are still at a very early stage.
And we've gone this far in all the discussions without really talking about blockchain. And I know it's quite a frightening subject, but just before we all go off to enjoy our coffee, maybe Cecille, you could tell us in the most basic of language how blockchain might impact the discussion that we're having today.
I will take the example of a legal obligation we have in insurance, which is know your customer. So you must know his name, where he's living, and so on. And then you have to report it to the authorities. And so how can you make it transparent and clear? And with the blockchain, you can do this because you have public and private keys, and you can share those keys in different levels. So you can basically give a key to the end user. So to you, it's your data. To us, because we have this regulatory constraint that we have it. But also maybe why not to the regulator directly? And then instead of spending a lot of time talking to regulators and making feedback report and those kind of things, it's transparent and clear and decentralized. So I think for me, the know your customer is a good example where blockchain can change the whole of the game.
When you say you give them a key, what does that mean?
Yeah, actually there are many ways to give a key to a customer. So there can be let's say a number, a figure, but it can also more and more be related to a small device that you can plug into your computer, and it makes the whole thing safer. After the hacking of the DAO this summer, there are lots of questions about the security of a blockchain, and there are new actors combining new ways to secure a blockchain. And I think it has a lot of future. And I would also like to stress the initiative about how to make Bitcoin more anonymized, even more anonymized. And there is this new blockchain when you can exchange with money with somebody without giving your name, the amount of money, and so it's really new. And I think people are changing the blockchain to adapt to this world of anonymization and data privacy.
I think I saw a delegate with an Evernym badge here earlier, so if you see him, he's got more to say on this subject. So anyway, that brings our panel session to a halt. Thank you very much for joining us. Can someone tell me how long we've got? Because we've overrun a little bit. So we're going to the coffee break now. Do we come back at 3:30? Is that correct? Yep, 3:30. So thank you very much, everyone. Back here at 3:30. Thank you.